What's up, Collector Fam? It's your boy Tony the Toy Rat. And today I get to open something I have never been able to open before, and that is Chasm. That's right. We have one of the Spider-Man Rouges I have been absolutely waiting for. Why? Because he's not commonplace. We'll talk all about him after we unbox him. Let's get doing that now. Yay! Let's open him up. Handy dandy scalpel tool. Guys, while I'm opening him up, we can talk a little bit about who this guy is. So, Chasm winds up becoming Chasm only after he is cloned several, I don't know, dozen, 100 times by the villainous Jackal. Let's turn that open and turn it around, okay? The villainous Jackal clones Peter Parker and then convinces his clone that he's the real version of Spider-Man. For a short time, our friend Ben Reily, who is Chasm, excuse me, dons the mantle of Scarlet Spider, and even for a short time, Spider-Man. Guys, remember, fill that out. It helps the company to determine where they're going right or wrong. This is the box. It's just got a big blue inside. So, like I would typically tell you guys, let's save the earth together and recycle. Okay, cool. We've got one piece of tape separating us from Chasm. Let's get it open. Okay. Two pieces of tape. Alright, slide this open. And you remember, guys, more recycling. Let's get her done. I'm just knocking things all around on the inside here. Ooh, pretty colors. Alright, so there's a lot of cool things that we're going to take a look at here in just a minute. But I want to start by giving you guys a quick look of him just popping right outside the box. And then we're going to set him down and do a full body spin and have a conversation about Ben Reily Chasm, Scarlet Spider, Spider-Man Rouges. Let's get it done. This is a Chasm. A cha-cha-cha. Full body spin time. We're back, Collector Fam, and let's jump right into talking about this poor, tortured soul. Who are we talking about? We are talking about this poor clone of Peter Parker, who would later be known as Ben Reily. Now, we're not going to have enough time to go through the entire history of Ben Reily and how he was created, but I'm going to give you a snippet, okay? There is a evil character, a malevolent being known as the Jackal, Miles Warren. Miles Warren gets a snippet of Peter Parker DNA and is able to use this cloning technology to create another version of Peter Parker. Then goes as far as to convince said version of Peter Parker, who will be known as Ben Reily, that he is the actual Peter Parker. Now, we're not going to go into the long, convoluted history of how many times poor Ben Reily was used by Miles Warren, died or killed, and then recloned, making his soul this thing you see ahead of you now. Eventually, he was fused with what you see today. And as a result, we have Chasm. Now, what's the first thing we like to look at when we're looking at our new statues, everybody? We look at the portrait. Lucky for us, this portrait is pretty easy to see. It's not like you can mess this one up too much. Chasm looks like this. That's what he looks like. You see his eyes. He's got this, typically I would say it's even more green. It's kind of like a fluorescent green. I think they did their best to come up with that green. And you can see the oozing tendrils that are all over his back, his arms, his legs. And what are they? They're very much like venom. I mean, it has that sort of quality associated with him. But this, no, is not a symbiote. Not at all. So, in the universe of 616, he has had a tortured life. He has played Scarlet Spider. He has played Spider-Man. He has tried to be the hero, and he's tried to be the villain, or wound up being the villain. In any case, Chasm is what you get. Now, we know that the portrait is right, and he looks like he's supposed to look from the comic books. So let's give that a 3 cheeser right off the jump. I'm really happy to say that, to be quite honest with you. There's a couple of different comic book covers that this particular diorama, I think, attempts to match. We're going to throw it up on screen so you guys can take a look and see what the differences is. The differences are between the comic book and the statue adaptation. But you can see he's got the giant spider on his chest, reminiscent of Spider-Man. One of those things they took away from Venom. He's also got it on the back, and it's got this really cool, vibrant color pattern to him. He's rocking sort of a purple and neon green scenario, and I'm here for it, man. I think it is so unique among the Spider-Man rogues. The traditional Spider-Man rogues came from the early 1960s, 70s, when most of the costume villainry were still wearing their underwear over their pants, right? Trying to emulate wrestlers and things of that nature. Clearly, this is a full body suit with an entire different approach wrapped around him. So I really like that, okay? Let's talk about whether or not this thing is dynamic, or whether you guys would consider it dynamic. Let's turn it around. Okay, cool. All right. Definitely, I wouldn't say this is museum quality. This is an action setup. It's not super dynamic. He's not leaping, lunging, jumping, running, snarling, or beating somebody up. But there is motion here, and it's fluid. He does look like he is walking over a pile of crumbling bricks. It's not rocks, it's bricks. Let's point that out. The foundation and the base is not rocks, it's bricks. Okay, so let's show you guys that real quick. That's what it looks like. You can see that all the way up and around here. There's bricks, and they look like they've fallen over. Okay, there's actually a whole lot of things happening here. This roof chimney setup here. So clearly he's at the rooftop somewhere. And a battle has just transpired. Hence the reason for the smoke billowing around, which is also the reason we think there is the collapse of the bricks and whatever else you might find on this roof. I don't know what this tiny little thing is meant to represent down here. I think it looks like some wood. It looks like a wood roof, to be quite honest with you. I'm not sure I love that choice right there, but I forgive you. The base is not solid. You can see all throughout here it's pitted. You can find your points of contact where the feet are hit here. And I don't think you can find it up here, but you can see that long channel back here, where the thickness is, and that's where all the weight comes down in this particular statue. It sits plenty clean. There isn't room for it to wiggle or wobble anywhere, so it will sit wherever you guys wind up putting it, which is great. And so as far as dynamic statue is concerned, I'm going to give it a 3 cheeser. I'm giving it a 3 cheeser. He's not running, jumping, snarling, beating somebody up, or flying, but at the same time, he's got this I am gripping into my power scenario, and everything that's happening around him in this diorama sort of sets the stage as to whether or not we would consider him dynamic typically. So I'm going to say yes, dynamic, 3 cheese. I'm going to say diorama. The dioramas needs a little bit of help. I'm going to give this diorama a 2 cheeser. Just because I can't exactly tell. I'm surmising what I believe is happening here, but it's not obvious. It looks to me that there was a fight at the top of a roof, and there are things crumbling, and from it, he is emerging, and his power set is about to take hold, and he about to whoop somebody's ass. About to whoop some ass. That's all I'm saying. So that's what I get out of that. I like the base that it lays flat, but beyond that, although there's lots of things to look at in the diorama set, I think before where I was complaining that they, meaning our friends at Diamond Select Toys, very often use rocks as the basis for our base to lock our characters into. They have succumbed to a different approach, and that is using billowing smoke to hide things. I'm not sure that's exactly the way you want to take it, but at least in this depiction, we don't lose his feet in the smoke, right? His feet are visible, and there isn't any color problems with them. As a matter of fact, I gotta tell you, I really do love the neon colors in this thing. This thing is just vibrant. Man, I wish they would have took it one tiny step further and made all this stuff sort of a glow-in-the-dark approach, so that when the light hits it, it's absorbing it, you turn the lights off, and it's a glow-in-the-dark deal, and I think that would have made this thing that much better. But I digress. That's not what they did, and it's still pretty vibrant. It's still pretty neon. Still pretty damn cool, if you ask me. So, Portrait 3 cheese, Dynamic Pose 3 cheese, Diorama 2 cheese. So we're not on a full 3 cheeser yet. It's about a 2.75 cheeser as far as I'm concerned. I think it matches the character set. You don't have any question as to whether it's Chasm. If you know the lore of Spider-Man, if you know your Spider-Man Rogues, and if you're familiar with the Ben Reily Chasm, then I think you'll take a look at this statue and you'll go, yeah, boop. They hit the mark on 99.9% of it. I really don't have any complaints about the statue. I don't have any complaints about the musculature. I think it's on point. He's strong without being like over the top. You can see his muscles through the costume, but not like you can some people where you can see every indentation of every muscle, every vein. That's not what you're getting here. But you are getting the notion that he's wearing a skin-tight costume and he's pretty strong. So for that, I'm cool. I really enjoy the piece. I think if you sit this next to the other Spider-Man Rogues, real talk, he's going to stand out tremendously. Almost all the other Spider-Man Rogues have a darker approach to it, or an old school style, right? So Doc Ock will have his dark green and orange. Why is that? Well, if you looked at what Sony did with Spider-Man, they didn't keep that, right? They wound up going with a black outfit, leather jacket, and modernizing for the times. But if you look at the original Doc Ock, he's got these sort of bright green and orange colors. And if you go to the animated version of Doc Ock, it goes with a bright yellow and green. So, but for the vast majority of the characters, we're looking at dark colors. Morbius has dark colors. Electro is dark colors with pops of bright, obviously. He's another one of those characters still wearing his underwear on the outside. Not the Jamie Foxx version, but the original comic style. So again, putting Chasm next to something like Morbius, which I plan on doing, and Morbius is rocking out in a sort of navy blue and red setup. But I think this plays well next to that because it gives you a brightness and a break between the colors if you're displaying all of the Spider-Man Rogues together. So that's it, guys. This is available to you from our friends at Diamond Select Toys. I would wholeheartedly pick it up. Again, if you're a collector and you're after the Spider-Man Rogues, you can't not have all the Spider-Man Rogues. That's one Toy Rat's opinion. You might disagree with me. And it could be a cost issue. But Christmas! Always Christmas! And remember birthdays! And Hanukkah! And all the other things that you would get presents for. This is your boy, Tony the Toy Rat, for Diamond Select Toys, Ben Reily's Chasm, and I am out. Go pick one up. It's Christmas. And if you're watching this after Christmas, then it's not Christmas, but still pick one up anyway. I'm out. Peace.